What's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn here. Today I'm going to just be saying what's up, kind of talking about a little bit about my plans for next league, my expectations, and just kind of going over what I think is going to happen within this new league. So far, this is prior to patch notes being posted, or if they have been posted, at least they're not posted by the time I've, uploaded this video, or maybe I just haven't seen them. Regardless, I figured I'd kind of give you guys a kind of an outlook or my opinion on it. Now, I had watched a couple of the clips of the videos and I heard a couple of things about it, and one of the things I will say is that there is a global nerf that they mention all DPS for damaging gyms, support gyms specifically. And in my opinion, this might be both a well-needed nerf and a over-tuned nerf. We'll be able to see how that pans out as things go. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my volume because I'm gonna be playing as I'm talking. So let's go ahead and turn off this, and I can turn off what else? Dialogue volume. All right, there we go. So first things first, I'm sure anyone who has been following my channel from now, or up until now, or at least watched a few of my videos, you've seen that I've been able to take Ice Shot into a insanely high DPSing, boss killing standpoint. And this wasn't an easy thing to do by any means, but it was easy enough that with just a couple of uniques, I had decided to go and take on Uber Elder, who was literally nothing but a cakewalk. Now this build here is so face rolly and so overpowered that I can literally kill Uber Elder, I can kill the Feared, I can kill all the major boss fights without even trying. I'm not doing it because I don't care that much about it, but I will say that I have fought Drox, about to fight Cyrus. I've done my fair share of playing around with this build, and I will say it is incredibly overpowered for what it is. So I don't think this build making it into next league will be a thing. It is very niche and it may be surviving. If it does, I wouldn't mind crafting like perfect gear for it in standard. But as far as in league goes, I don't think it's gonna make a resurgence. Otherwise, I don't know. They said that the core mechanics for this league were not gonna carry over into core, basically. Or sorry, Ultimatum was not going core. That's already been confirmed, and in my opinion, that's fine. There is plenty of things that we have to do without Ultimatum being core. I never liked Ultimatum personally. If you saw some of my videos, I was skipping ultimatums in a lot of my mapping anyway. And although that's just my preference, I still think, I stick by that. And it's just, I really don't think that ultimatum going core not going core is a huge deal. Now, I don't know what they're going to do as far as placing the uniques into the base game. I know that eventually there'll be a div card, or it'll be a drop, or it'll be a league specific unique out of an item, or anything like that. I can see that happening. I don't know if Hate Forge will be nerfed. They haven't announced anything. I'm just here to talk about a couple of the things that were mentioned, such as the overall nerfs to support gens, damaging support gens. So, one of the things I will say is my first speculation is that any build that you were normally able to just go right out of the gate and do tier 1 all the way up to tier 16 maps are not going to exist. They said the fine-tunement is going to be anywhere between 20 to 40% on the top end. I think GGG's goals, this is again my personal opinion, is overall going to be to fine-tune every single build to a point to make it so they all have build resonance in a way, not item resonance, but build resonance, so they all can perform at an almost equivalent pace, and make it so not one build or two builds are overwhelmingly powerful versus others. So, aside from excuse me, aside from that, there are a couple of things that I will say about, you know, some of the builds whew, I played in the past. And firstly, the first build is going to be obviously Ice Shot. Well, Ice Shot, if anyone's ever played it into mapping, early mapping, they know as soon as you get to maps and get the gems up to level or even close, you're going to enjoy your mapping. You're not gonna have any problems doing that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the overall build isn't necessarily, you know, done for. Unfortunately, with Ice Shot, I think Ice Shot's going to be one of the ones that suffers the most in the early game, and definitely be one that you want to invest even later game, or a second build, or even a third build. Now, simple question, simple answer. Will I be playing Ice Shot next league? Yes, I will be. Will I try to still make it work even with all these global nerfs? Of course I will. Will it be as powerful as the previous leagues where I've taken it and literally done Maven and done all in-game content, Uber Elder, all this other stuff? It might be, but at the very least, it's not going to face roll content on a very, very cheap budget, like such as a Chin Soul and stuff like that. It'll be more gear intensive and more investment than it has been before. Now, another build I will go over is Chaos-Reighn. I've played Chaos-Reighn twice now. I actually played one at the beginning of last league, and then I played another one at the in standard this league just for a bit. And I will say, even after the nerfs they've already dispatched with Chaos-Reighn, Chaos-Reighn still feels like it's in a very comfortable spot. Now, the only way they can really nerf Chaos-Reighn down to the floor would definitely have to be them taking and, well, essentially destroying all of, you know, its gems, all of them, which they're doing, right? They're really doing. So they're taking and destroying all of the damaging support gems for all of the builds, pretty much. They said you can expect, this is their words, expect a 20 to 40% damage decrease on all of your gems, and that's unfortunate, but it's going to happen. And what we have to think about is, how is that going to affect Chaos-Reighn? Well, simply put, it's not. Chaos-Reighn does chaos damage, and the way this game works is there's not a lot of enemies that have high innate chaos resistances. There are some, but a lot of them do not. Some of the bosses obviously will be tougher to kill, but the early game for Chaos-Reighn, Caustic Arrow, and ED Contagion will probably be just as strong as they were before, if not stronger than most other builds, because even though their gem numbers are going to be decreased, they're just going to be able to shred through all the enemies that have 0 chaos resistance anyway. Do I think Chaos-Reighn will be in-game viable? I don't know. My personal opinion is that probably not. Just because if they're nerfing their games or their gems that hard, the cost to make a in-game Chaos-Reighn build will probably be, you know, I'd like to see 100 plus exalts or more, and that just doesn't really seem like the playstyle or the budget that a lot of Chaos-Reighn players are used to, or will want to be used to. Now, of course, this is different for those min-maxers who obviously spend 100x just on a bow, or even more if you have some of the, you know, crazy luck crafted ones. But this doesn't necessarily mean that the build's going to, you know, survive this whole nerf. However, I will say, if you're planning to play in early league, I would definitely recommend looking into Chaos-Reighn. I chose a Deadeye so I can stack the different Mirage Archers, but you can choose whatever Ascendancy you want. I see people doing Trickster and stuff like that on PoE Ninja. It is all totally up to you. Now, the other builds. Well, I've only played Bleed Bow, and Bleed Bow, as far as I have seen, I haven't tested any of the new Bleed Bow stuff, such as the new modifiers, to see if it's still good, versus the old modifier, which is double damage, essentially. But I have played in Standard, and I say the existing Bleed Bows in Standard will be fine. The ones that will be dropping to standard this league forward are probably just going to feel worse and worse and worse. I've heard from people who did play Bleed Bow this league that it's not the same. The clear is is up to par, but the single target just isn't there. That's including with an assailant. Excuse me. With that being said, there is always well, there's always going to be those who take it to the next level and make it, you know, their own and make their own overhaul and create crazy builds. So, who knows? Who knows? Now, we'll go to Cyclone. Well, currently, I've only played Hollow Palm Cyclone twice now. The first time was my one I've shown before in Standard, and the second time was this league, which was my Hollow Palm Self-Chill Raider Cyclone, which was cold converted, and in my opinion, I would never recommend that to anyone. Excuse me 1 second. And that's just because you don't crit, so being able to chill and freeze was really hard. I had to make a workaround to do it. It worked, but I had to do a workaround to do it. So don't do that. Don't do what I did. It wasn't very fun. However, Hollow Palm Ice Crash, I still think Hollow Palm as a overall gym in general will be good. Even if all of these support gyms are nerfed by 40% for the build, you have to think that the build is so overwhelmingly powerful that you're not going to really have any issues. And this is what the most recent update, by the way, if you're looking at this is what the most recent update is doing. It's literally freezing your game. I can't do anything. Yeah. So I figured I'd post a video and chat a little bit, and at the same time kind of you know, yell at GGG for having a broken game like everyone. Oh, look, we got kicked to the menu. Well, let's go back in. And if you guys like this kind of thing, if you like the discussion kind of videos, you're more than welcome to request them. And furthermore, you're even more than welcome to request videos that are basically me discussing, you know, nerfs, buffs, build stuff, anything like that that you think you would want to listen to. So, because I feel like this video is going on a little too long, I'm gonna cut it short in a second here. There's something to be said about all these nerfs and all these, you know, these classes gonna be nerfed. Well, I think, in my opinion, I will enjoy the nerfs. And there's a couple of reasons. First and foremost, making the game harder is never a bad thing. Just because your character can't do the in-game content doesn't mean your character is the bad character. It just means you have to figure out how to get it to the point to do the in-game content. Now, do I think I will play Ice Shot the same way I did this league and do in-game content? Absolutely yes. Would I recommend Ice Shot to, you know, the casual players? Absolutely yes. Do I recommend it as a league start? No. Do I recommend it as a second build? Sure, why not? It's fairly cheap to get started. It's just you're going to need a lot of gem levels, which means you're going to need a lot of progression and be able to do some, you know, some juicy maps on a different build, whereas Ice Shot building up cannot do juicy maps because of how squishy it is. So, without further ado, I will thank you right here, and then I will continue to do my mapping. Thank you everyone so much for enjoying my channel and watching and tuning in. If you have any questions or any requests, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And lastly, I will say thank you for the support. I had someone send me a cool comment on my thing, and that was pretty cool of you. I hope that you guys do enjoy my content, and don't be afraid to request stuff. I need things to do. At the moment, I'm not really doing anything but running maps mindlessly and testing my damage. Have a good one.